and welcome to Lifespan Discipleship. This is Unit 4, Session 2. We're continuing through the lifespan, and we have been discussing discipleship to teenagers. And today I want to address something that you'll see in the PowerPoint for Session 2. And it's all about Steve Patty's developmental stages. And what Patty has done is he has combined some of the work of Erickson and Piaget into kind of his own stages. And so I want to talk through a couple of those. I'm going to start with really what is stage 2 in Patty's stages, but because those are the ones that relate to youth ministry. And what he has done is he has put 3 stages within adolescence. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. The first one is learning by doing. Learning by doing is what Patty says that our students who are late elementary age, early middle school, junior high age. And he says here that, and we can see this in youth ministry, that those students are all about activity. They're all about participation. And so they respond well to games and activities where there's structure and there's order. Our students at this stage are all about the rules. They want to know what the rules are, and they want to make sure that those that violate the rules of the game are penalized in some way. So you'll see your junior high students and your middle school students when you're doing activities and different things. If a referee or someone in charge of that game isn't fair in how they are allowing students to play the game, those students will be upset because, again, they're kind of in this stage of learning by doing, and those rules and those parameters helps those students understand the game and how things are done. And in the same way, in our teaching times, we want to realize that students at this stage will benefit from active learning and participatory learning in a classroom setting or small group if we're asking them to engage in some type of activity or game, even within the context of the learning environment. And it has to do with them also being concrete learners. You know, they're still coming out of childhood and entering into adolescence where there'll be a change in the way they can think and begin to interact with the Scripture and the learning environments. And so that's that first area, learning by doing. The second one is, Patty says, relationships matter most. This is now our middle school students moving into high school age, where the relationships that are developed and in place during this time of life become vital. We see here a lot of cliques and groups forming, right? We have people beginning to migrate into their different groups and sort of subcategories, whether it's groups that are cheerleaders or those that are maybe more athletic. You've got students who identify with band or choir. So all of these different subgroups within adolescence, you see them migrating to that because they're developing those relationships. And in youth ministry, we see it maybe most often when we're planning events and activities, and maybe some students are not showing up to some of the things that they had previously been a part of. Well, it goes back to who's going to be there. And so our students begin asking questions about, you know, are my friends planning to go? And if my friends are not going to go to this event or activity, then I'm not going to go, because relationships matter most. So we see that playing out a little bit in youth ministry in that way. The third and final stage that I want to highlight here is meaning making. Now, this applies to our high school and our college age students, because at this stage, our students have reached that what Piaget called formal operational thinking. And this means that their brain develop has reached a point that, boy, they're firing on all cylinders, so to speak. And so they're able to engage in thought and reason and analysis and evaluation in a way they never have before. And so students at this stage love to talk about, discuss, and debate issues. It's because they're able to now make connections that they previously had not been able to make. And they're able to think about issues of faith and issues that relate to them personally in a whole new way. So they're looking at their faith and their beliefs and theology in a new way, and they want to discuss, why do we believe that? Why does the Bible say this? How does that relate to me personally? What is God doing in my life? And they want to make sense of that, or, as Patty says, to have an understanding, a meaning to what life is all about and their place and their role in this. And so in youth ministry and in college ministry, we do them a great service by helping them think through and question and give them opportunities to dialogue a little bit about their faith and how that relates to their own life. And what Patty would say here is that also it's all about them finding their place in this world and understanding what God has for them. And so these 3 stages help us to understand a little bit about where our students are developmentally, and then we begin to think about how we can best serve our students and meet their needs when we have that understanding. So I hope it's something that you'll enjoy reviewing as you take a look at the PowerPoint. So make sure this week that you are posting on Discussion Board 5, and then Quiz 6 is due by March 12th. That's all I've got for you this time, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.